I think that part of our resistance was to develop the human rights culture and the human rights education and make it part of our attempt to introduce the human rights culture in the society and to reinforce our presence in the societies. And concerning the human rights education, we developed a strategy to introduce human rights in the curricula and the school system. We started in 1996 by analyzing the school curricula and the school books in more than 13 Arab countries. It was about hundreds of school books. And the idea was to analyze the perception of Arabs to human rights issues, women's issues, their perception of the other religions, minorities through the school system, how they deal with all these issues in the school system. And having in mind that all the oppressive regimes start by developing their oppression inside schools and using schools and this school system to develop their oppressive regimes, we started to analyze how this functions in the schools. After all this analysis, we brought all these results, and we organized meetings with the civil society organizations working on education and human rights and women's rights, the representatives of the ministries of education in these countries, and the responsibles, the directors of curricula within the ministries of education. And we organized 3 main meetings, and we developed what we called the Arab strategy for the human rights education in the school system. This strategy was based on 3 main work orientations. First, to suggest new school books and using the human rights as a framework for these school books. The second orientation was to develop the capacities of the responsibilities of curricula and the teachers, develop their capacities to analyze school books and to integrate human rights in their work. And the third work strategy was to lobby some ministries of education and develop a kind of human rights education strategy, national strategies. And I think that we succeeded in first in training many people from the school system on human rights issues. We developed some solutions or developed some curricula based on human rights. And the third issue is that we developed a very close relationship with some Ministry of Education, and we've been part of the reform of the education system in Morocco, for example. We've been invited by the Ministry of Education to be part of all this important reform of the school education system. We've been also asked by the Tunisian government to be part of some reflection about how to introduce human rights in the school system. We did the same thing with Qatar, with Bahrain. And I think that one of the main results of this work, we demonstrated that human rights education can be used as a tool and a strategy to reform the education in general. To introduce the human rights issues was not only to teach human rights at a time when all Arabs were really hostile to the reform of the school system and the introduction of human rights because of the, you remember all the speeches about reforming the education system coming from the USA and other Arab Western countries. We demonstrated by this work that we can adopt the universal human rights principle in reforming our activities with a kind of local approach and local energy potential.